We're bringing the challenge.
Cue the music.
Good morning. Welcome to the Upper Deck for Pinstripe Chronicles. I'm Chris.
I'm Lynn.
And we are bringing you your Sunday news and views.
Yes, indeedy. Hey, Lori, good morning.
Lori, good morning. Hal said recently he had a conference at Sportico, and he said, bring it all. I want you to bring everything. Challenge our philosophies, our practices, and Lynn and I are here to do just that today. So we hope you have a lot of good ideas as to how we can challenge Hal.
I think this crew, and hey, NFE, good to see you. I think, Dev, what up? I think between all of us, we have more than enough to challenge Hal with.
Yeah, I think so. And reading about the meetings that were held in Tampa, or his discussion of what went on, it was actually kind of funny what he was describing. I guess there were 3-day meetings. Things got pretty heated. Lynn, what did you hear?
Oh, I heard that Cashman called him a stupid head. Come on. What is heated? Like, other than the seats they were sitting on, to be comfortable. Give me a break. What's the first breaking news of the changes Hal made? Let's give the players a better lounge, a better place to zen out and relax. If they were any more relaxed, we'd be in like an ICU unit.
Oh my God, yes.
So
this team does not need. Hal, read the room.
Read the room. I mean, and you think that don't impress me much. I think there's a song about that. And yeah, Dev, I'm shocked too. Believe me, that I'm up already. He can read the room, and he thinks we're already confused. Confuse us some more with that news.
I know. Are the Yankees determined to become the clowns of the baseball world, or what? It's like you have serious issues, and not only that, but you've been called out by practically every sports writer and anyone who knows anything about baseball for the debacle that was the 2023 season. And you come out with, we're going to be making some changes, some more subtle than others, he said. And then the first thing we hear is better dining areas and sleeping rooms. And it's just insulting to fans. But because Hal thinks we're confused, maybe that's why.
Yep, and also give it up, Hal. You still said in your interviews afterwards that you're going to be consulting, bringing in some consultants and looking to them for advice on how they're running their analytics. Nobody believes you.
Nobody is believing that. I mean, Steinbrenner has yet to indicate whether any of the team's processes will change when it comes to evaluating talent on the field, pro or amateur, executing a daily game plan, or how the team trains and recovers. These are some of the things that we want to know. What is the team doing going forward? These are some of the problem areas that were identified. And what we get is better dining areas and sleeping rooms.
Yeah. It boggles the mind. Just when you think you can't boggle the mind more. And hey, almighty finesse, good to have you with us. Thanks for coming in. He's throwing down big and saying that 2024 we'll get the trophy. I'm going to bookmark that and
Yeah, bookmark that.
Buy you a big fat steak if that happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Not that I don't think that will happen. I mean, this team has some elements that you could build a World Series championship team on. But the question is, do we have the kind of leadership that could do that? Are they going to bring in, though? Are we a piece or two short, chat, of being World Series champion, a World Series championship team?
Well, Almighty Finesse is jumping right in there and saying we get Juan Soto, it's a wrap. So let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. We got some. Let me see. I got some numbers for Soto here. 24-year-old lefty. I mean, my God, his numbers for this year are not even good. It's not a good year for him, really. And they're still great numbers. 275 average of 930 OPS, 5.6 WAR. He hit 35 home runs. Yeah, definitely Juan Soto would be a welcome member of the 2024 New York Yankees.
Yeah, 100%. And Effie, you're also right. And hey, good morning, by the way. It's going to take more than Juan Soto to fix this team. There are holes on the roster, and totally. And so I'm actually going to share a really good post here. So and maybe this will get our conversation going. So PJ 1950 says, I would and breathe before you react, but react, everybody. I have to admit, I'd love if the Yankees could get Soto and Carpenter for a package of Spencer Jones, Will Warren, and Nestor Cortez. Then sign Yamamoto and have an opening day rotation of Cole, Yamamoto, Rodon, Schmidt, and King in whatever order. That would be lights out.
So, and I like that. I mean, I would love to see Soto and then bring on Yamamoto. You've right there. You've addressed two issues that were plaguing us in 2024. We needed more pitching, and we needed a lefty bat with an actual effective lefty bat in the lineup. So yeah, I mean, would the Yamamoto and Soto bring us a World Series?
Well, I certainly think. Oh, and boy, coming in hot on Carpenter, by the way.
Yeah, I don't have Carpenter's not on my radar.
But I think the thought. I'm presuming the thought behind that is, we wouldn't rely him on the field, but he could perhaps be a little bit more consistent at DH than Stanton is. But no. That's not saying much either. No. And so here's what's interesting about Cortez and hey, Sunil, I saw you join also last night on the Pinstripe Express show. We talked a bit about this. The thing about Nestor is we're also short in the bullpen on having a big closer guy that we could rely on. We haven't had an authentic closer essentially since Mo, when you really think about it. And not that we'll ever get anything close to the likes of Mo. What do you guys think about Cortez going into the bullpen as our closer? And hear me out for a second. I really think that you need that cool head, and you need that ability, that surprise factor. And Nestor has both of those in spades. And, my concern is I always go to the feels, right? My concern is, I wouldn't want, I feel poorly about Nestor feeling like a demotion. But really to have him as the solid closer, on consecutive nights, we saw what the season did to him when he was being overpitched as a starter this past season. He surely could handle the bottom of the ninth for a string of games and potentially be lights out. And the Yankees would have the benefit of having him come into the starting rotation when they need him, because Lord knows we can't count on injuries in the calculations here.
Right. But, I'd have to be convinced that Cortez is no longer effective as a starter to revert him to the bullpen. And I'm not convinced of that. And I'd like to see him go back to the style that made him so successful when he was unorthodox, doing things that were unexpected. I love Cortez, and I hope that he does regain the lights out sort of abilities that he had when we were so impressed by him. But I mean, he got injured. Right now, things, it seemed it's a little bit easy to say maybe he should move to the bullpen, and maybe he would be more effective there. But I hate to see it. Same with Severino. I know that people are also asking that question. Severino is a free agent. What to do with him? Do the Yankees extend a qualifying offer to Severino? Could Severino be in the bullpen? Could he close? I don't know.
I'm interested to hear what the chat has to say on that. I love everything about Sevy, the professional. I love his accountability. I love his work ethic. And I love how he's always looking to get things right. But that in a Metro card will get me across town. And the thing is, that injury history is getting deeper. And also you got to think about what this has done to him, mentally. I don't mean in any kind of way other than that's got to be a head game in his head. And will we get him back to anything, close to what we're used to there? And both, hey Spencer, hey Joe, they're both saying they like Cortez in the rotation. I do too. I like Cortez any way I could see him. And, Spencer said that Nestor's crafty, but in today's closer makeup, I don't want crafty. I want nasty. And I'm not entirely sure that you should presume that he's not going to be nasty. I think we didn't see a lot of nasty because he was overworked. And to the extent that, that's really what prompted to me, that had to be at the root of the injury and losing him the rest of the season. And I think with that less of a stretch of pitching longevity wise, he'd bring the nasty back. So I don't know. And I can't believe I'm saying this either, because really, Spencer, like everyone's saying, I prefer him in the rotation too, but I'm thinking about what's best for the team. And, in terms of what we could get versus what we already have, knowing that big dollars are likely going to go elsewhere, I think it's an option that should be considered, but that's just me. And then we have NFE tossing in Bellinger. So what is about Bellinger?
Yeah, Bellinger, I'm dubious. He's probably not my favorite option. I prefer Soto. Bellinger, however, I mean, obviously he's a free agent, so we wouldn't have to trade anything to get him, right? I believe. He's 28 years old, again, a lefty, so that addresses the problem. But the thing about Bellinger is this is his first offensive season where he's been really impressive. And his career numbers are more in line with the, average, are more average than maybe you think they are, if you recall. So, and another option might be Kevin Kiermaier in the outfield. What do you guys think of Kiermaier? If we don't get Soto, or if Bellinger turns out to be not the option, what about Kiermaier?
Kiermaier is up there in age, right?
He's 33.
Okay, and so the thought would be then perhaps that he'd be a stopgap guy,
right?
Is that right? Like if they could get him, and he's saying he likes Kiermaier, and Spencer's men's on Kiermaier, but and if he's agreeing that on a short-term deal he would be good, and it opens up the pockets from the big big money we'd spend between Yamamoto and Soto.
Right.
But and Lori's weighing in that Kiermaier is very cute.
And I wanted to share, I was telling Lynn beforehand, Kiermaier's from my hometown of Fort Wayne, Indiana. So, of course, I would love to see him in pinstripes. But that's qualified by saying I realize he's a stopgap. His defense would be outstanding, though. We could definitely use that in the outfield. He's bar none one of the top defenders in MLB at any position. So Kiermaier, he would definitely be, I think, the kind of stopgap that Cashman is famous for.
Yeah.
He's the almost guy.
Right. And he loves him some almost guys.
He loves the almost guys.
Yeah. And so, look, a Kiermaier as he presents now, and looking into the future, we could semi-rely on some help until Jason is back, and rely on the fact that he's not going to come into the team in a boot. Then why not? Why not Kiermaier? Does he hit left, right switch?
Left. He's
okay. Well, and there's another vote because we're so short on lefties, and switch hitters are like the unicorn of the universe lately, the past several years. So,
and as he says, there's a lot of question marks this offseason. And yeah, definitely. What do you, in the chat, what do you think? Are you thinking the Yankees should make any qualifying offers? We've got a number of players who are eligible. The qualifying offer this year is $20.5 million. Severino, Montas, IKF, Peralta, Middleton, McAllister, and Weaver are all eligible for qualifying offers. Does anybody on that list strike you as someone we've got to have get the qualifying offer that we need back?
Okay, so I heard
IKF maybe?
Yeah, and I say no to IKF. Keep going? Can you say it again?
Sure. Severino, Montas, IKF, Peralta, Kenyon Middleton, Zach McAllister, and Luke Weaver.
So I think Wandy is worth consideration. And if he is saying that Middleton should get a qualifying offer.
Yeah.
Lori is emphatically held to the no on IKF. And I concur. No Sevy, no Montas from Lori.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, now let's talk about IKF a little bit, though. The Yankees love this guy. And actually, I came to love IKF because of his work ethic. I mean, his diligence. He does not quit, and his versatility. He says, yes, I can do just about anything. Now, that being said, is there a place for IKF? No.
And I would say no as well, because we know that he turned into much more of a utility guy,
right?
And thank God for it. But the infield is already rich, not in bodies alone. Let's just say, right? And so, and if we get the center field, left field stuff sorted out, then what really happens to him other than pitching in the ninth inning or eighth inning when needed. And FJ is right. I think he's too expensive for a utility guy,
right?
So, and I like him too, but I just think there's others that I could learn to love.
And I mean, what do? We've got DJ LeMahieu. We're stuck with him. He's our utility guy. Do we want to bring up the question about Gleyber Torres? I know that there was a lot of speculation, a lot of desire before the trade deadline, whether or not to trade Gleyber Torres for some starting pitching or, for some other much needed position. And before the trade deadline, I was like, yes, let's trade Gleyber Torres. He was the only valuable piece we had to trade. But now my thinking on that has changed. I think Gleyber is, offensively, he's the second best player on the team. He's that right there says he's what his value is to the Yankees.
The thing is, Gleyber had a great breakout in the second half of the season. There's no doubt about that. So short-term memory wise, boy, thank God we had his bat until he got on the bases. His IQ between home plate, and first base dropped like 50 points, and then 50 more points each progressive base after that. It's just
I know
the mistakes he's made on the bags, combined with just the lack of mechanics and IQ at position. All credit to him, because I think he's another one. He really does try, but try doesn't get you a trophy. Major League Baseball isn't everybody gets a trophy for effort, and the thing is, he's at his top of the peak for AAV at the moment. I think after this, if Yankees want to get dollars and not give up so much in a package, this would be the time to fish or cut bait.
Right. Yeah. And I like Joe's. Joe said I would only trade Torres for a great number 2 starter. And I'm thinking that given who would you trade Gleyber for as a number 2? Like, if I was going to trade Gleyber, I want Blake Snell, for God's sakes. But I don't think Blake Snell wants to be a number 2 anywhere. But at any rate, I agree. We need the number 2 starting pitcher, and it's going to have to be. I don't think it's going to come through trade, though. Now that the free agent, there's plenty of free agent pitchers, I think, out there, and plus Yamamoto and reaching out that way.
Right, that's right. So I think. Oh, and NFV is saying Snell's a free agent.
Wait, no, he is a free agent. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake.
He's asked. My mistake. Anyone in the chat know for certain? I don't. I could phone a friend real fast, but
I forgot about Snell being a free agent. I was thinking that he wasn't. So anyway, if that's the case, go get him.
Right.
Let's go. Let's have Snell. But I don't know that Snell would actually be a number 2. He's an ace. So
confirmed. Free.
Yeah. All right. My mistake. I stand corrected. I wanted to bring up some of the important dates coming up in MLB, just because people need to know. It's like, when are these things going to happen? And I wanted to point out about free agency and qualifying offers. Right now, the most exciting date for me is the end of the World Series, because then 5 days later, stuff is going to start happening in Major League Baseball, especially for the Yankees, because we're not going to get any news to talk about until the World Series is over. So 5 days after the World Series will be the last day to make a qualifying offer to eligible free agents. Then November 7th through the 9th are the GM meetings in Arizona. And November 14th is the deadline to accept the qualifying offer. The free agent draft is December 6th. The winter meetings, December 3rd through the 6th. So we have some stuff to look forward to, but I fear that there's not going to be anything that happens until some of these deadlines come up on us. The Yankee world is dead. Nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. But true to form, we'll get our hopes up we'll spend between now and then wishing and hoping and thinking and praying, and it'll go by, and we'll be on this, edge of our seats, approaching spring training.
Yep.
And Elliot is saying that he thinks that there won't be any major news this off season. I mean,
I believe that.
It's good to expect the worst and hope for the best. And those big gets are going to be, the most dramatic announcements ever that we tend to get every year. And that'll remain to be seen. But, can we switch back to picking on Hal for a minute? Because, I mean, after all, it was our teaser for the show.
Sure.
And I gotta share this tweet from Emily Nyman. It's actually insane to me that people think the Yankees issue this past season was anything besides the fact that they had a lineup full of bad players. Like, there was nothing that Boone, Bruce Bochy, Dusty Baker, Brian Snitker, Buck Showalter, whoever could have done to change that. And so, obviously she's really saying it's the front office.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris, we were talking before we jumped on about the philosophy of the Yankees.
Yeah.
And what's going on with that, with the various, principles that they're standing on currently. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we thought we'd throw it out there. When Hal's talking about changing philosophies, what particular philosophies would you as fans like to see change? I mean, for example, I don't know if it's a philosophy, but the current right-handed nature of the Yankee lineup, the over-reliance on righty batting. I think we could use some lefties in the lineup, for example. I don't know if that's a philosophy or a policy or what it is, but what are some other philosophies that you guys would like to see change?
Well,
fire Cashman and Boone.
I'm good with that. Hey, Tats, thanks for joining. Hope you're right. Open up the pockets. Well, there's a philosophy I'd like to change. I'd like some pockets open. And so you're right on cue with that, Tats. And yeah, Joe and NFE, you both said it. Thank you. A lot less reliance on analytics.
Yes.
How about trusting the professional acumen of your players and, dare I say, the manager to use their gut and their instinct in the moment as it's happening without having all sorts of equations and algorithms running through your head? Can we change that? Can we tweak that just a bit?
Could we just change that? Yes, please. Could we also change the philosophy of resting everyone who has the hot hand? I hate this resting philosophy the Yankees have. Other teams do not rest their players with the regularity that the Yankee players get the most rest of anybody in MLB. I swear to God.
Absolutely. And how about the philosophy of power or nothing?
Power or nothing.
How far has that gotten us? Yeah, and Spencer has it right there, right? Basically home run or a bust. And that's why we have the glitchy performances we have that we hate, right? Yeah. That's the very reason why we have Stanton. It's definitely not for his speed or his prowess in the outfield.
Yeah.
It's for that every now and then 583 feet, break the window 3 blocks away, home runs he gets.
Yeah.
That's just not enough. That doesn't get us to the postseason. And that brings up another philosophy. Hey, we made it to the wild card.
Right.
Mission accomplished.
Exactly. And the philosophy that the playoffs are a crapshoot. They're not a crapshoot. You build playoff teams. You build world championship teams. Go get some players who can bring us a championship.
That's right. And yeah, Tats, coincidence? I think not. Most injuries.
Exactly.
Yep. And we know that. And you love your data so much. Look at the data on that because it exists. The more Stanton played, the better he got.
Exactly. And chat, if you can think of any other policies that you particularly dislike. What about the facial hair policy? I keep seeing that being brought up again. It's like, come into the 21st century or whatever. Let's make that change finally.
Yep, and Dev's agreeing with you. Yeah, I mean, I think the days of clean haircuts, clean face, it's 2023 about to be 2024.
Yep.
Let the kids play and let the hair grow.
Let the hair grow.
That doesn't bring you prestige. Winning championships brings you prestige, not the look of a team. And by the way, Hal, wearing high waters to press conferences, the Yankees either. Just saying.
Hey, I wanted to mention just briefly at the end here that the AL East did not win any games in the postseason. What do you think of that in the chat? Is the AL East the toughest division in baseball anymore?
They certainly choked, didn't they? And I can't help feeling pleased about that.
I can't help it either.
My happiest night in recent history was when the Blue Jays were crying on their way home. Hi, Felicia. And I'm looking forward to that when the Rangers do it to the Astros.
Hey, you know what I forgot, Lynn? I forgot the trivia question.
Yep, and I remembered when we had just gotten rolling and thought, yep, so thank you for bringing it up. I thought, okay, we'll do it at the end and play some
Jeopardy. Let's do it. Unfortunately, let's do it. We're rolling on time here, but we can squeeze it in.
We have plenty of time. Look, as long as the chat's rolling and we're rolling, we got plenty of time. And we would always make time for our trivia question of the week from
Absolutely.
Spencer. And so here we go. So here's the story. Perhaps to the chagrin of some New York Yankee fans, Brian Cashman will serve as the general manager in 2024. His 26th unbelievably unforgivable years. Yes, I'm editing, Spencer, I hope you don't mind. Brian was inserted into the position in 1998 at the recommendation of his predecessor, Bob Watson. And we know that Watson replaced Gene Michael in 1996, who, despite being fired by Steinbrenner after losing to Seattle in the 1995 ALDS, it's Michael who is credited for saving the New York Yankees and constructing the dynasty of the mid-90s. Gene Michael was appointed to the position in 1991. Now, who was the general manager that Gene Michael replaced?
Good question. Come on, chat.
Yep. So a quick Jeopardy music break, and let's see some guesses before I give you the answer, because I always promise the answer at the end.
Yep. Chat, let us know if there's anything that we didn't cover today that you'd like to talk about. I know that the Cashman or the Steinbrenner press conference was pretty much the only news of the week, but let us know what else you'd like to cover.
Hey, Spencer, you can't guess your own question. FJ's guessing Lou Piniella. My man, number 14. Still have his jersey. That was my first Yankee boyfriend. I have every playing card of Lou Piniella. Lori's saying Bob Quinn. We'll give it another 2 seconds, and then I'll roll down to the answer.
All right, sounds good.
And let's see.
Okay.
Harding Peterson.
Oh my God, I never heard that name before.
Me neither. Sounds like a president name.
Yeah.
He's the one that Gene Michael replaced. So if you didn't guess Harding Peterson, don't feel bad. No one would.
No one would.
That was a toughie. Thanks, Spencer.
Thanks, Spencer. Hey, Lynn, give us some final thoughts there. What are your wrap up the week for us?
So I think that the key takeaway for me is two things. As always, and I say it a lot, we have to keep managing expectations. We tossed out a lot of great, holiday wishes, but we also know who we're dealing with, and since we don't believe anything, that we don't believe that Hal really wants to be challenged or would accept a challenge, which really makes the point of the show, the theme of this show, sarcastic intentionally, is that we're just at the whim and will of a dysfunctional organization yet again. Boone is going to stay for his last year of contract, and don't think that we don't have to worry about him being given another contract in 2025. I'm already preparing myself for that.
Right.
So, let's try to manifest it into existence that we get Soto, or we get, maybe Kiermaier, Bellinger. I think we were all 50-50 on at the most. I think Soto's the one to watch and the one to get. I think Yamamoto and Soto would bring some life back to this team in the clubhouse and in the seats. And so, NFE, you already, okay, so I'm Nostradamus. I didn't, so Boone has a 25 option. Did not know that. Very sad.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is going to be a hot stove season here for us on the show. And we're going to keep posing the things, the news as it's coming, and really looking to you to do what you do for us every week. Bring those questions and thoughts.
Yep. And for me, I say I'm throwing down the gauntlet. Bring us the players. Bring us the players that we need to win a world championship. That's the challenge. And whether or not this offseason finally sees the Yankees bringing in the top players that are out there remains to be seen. We need Soto, we need Yamamoto, or we need Snell, in my opinion. Bring the players that will win the championships, and that's my word. Thank you, chat. Thank you, Lynn. Appreciate everybody showing up. Don't forget to like, subscribe, find us on Twitter. Let us know if there's anything you'd like to talk about that we haven't covered.
And as always, please come back, chat. We rely on you and love you co-hosting with us every week. Thank you so much. And remember, everyone has a reserved seat with Chris and me right here on the upper deck. Have a great week, everybody. And you're challenged, Hal.
You're challenged.